Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers, and Ron, who is what you might call a defender of the globe or anti-Flat Earther, but I think he's a genuine guy, and unlike some of the people we see defending the globe with deceptive techniques, here's a guy who's come across the Flat Earth and, like most people, finds the whole idea crazy and is trying to work out what the whole thing's all about. So he's made a video just recently, Flat Earth, I Finally Get It, and so I'd like to just address some of the misconceptions that he still has about the whole Flat Earth thing. Again, because he seems to be authentic, even though I believe he's missing the point. But it's a good opportunity to address the kind of ideas that many people might have. It's just that Ron has been a bit vocal and public about what he thinks. So let's just have a listen to what he has to say, and I'll stop it and make some responses.
Hey, yesterday I was watching a YouTube video and it confirmed what I suspected, that the Flat Earth Society is a religious cult. And it all makes sense now, because it's faith-based. It's not logic-based. It's not based on logic, and it's not. They don't actually carry out honest, true science.
Okay, so he mentions the Flat Earth Society, and of course we all know that most people making Flat Earth videos have nothing to do with the Flat Earth Society. Unfortunately, if anyone types in Flat Earth to Google or YouTube, they often come up with something by the official Flat Earth Society, which has obviously some good points, but then takes you off in a direction that is not really the direction we should be going if we are seeking truth about the situation. He said it was faith-based. Well, I'd say exactly the same about the globe. That is completely faith-based. We are given images, and of course we are shown pictures of the globe Earth from space, and it all appears to be perfectly normal until you look into it. Of course, it's widely accepted that we live on a globe, because that's what we've been shown and told since we were kids. So it's the globe that's faith-based, because it does go against all our natural instincts. And he mentioned just then that we're not doing any real science, which I would strongly disagree with. There are so many people out there who have the courage to look and experiment and test things for themselves, and this is the only way really you can test this faith in the globe, is by doing experiments, whether it's finding out how far across a surface we can actually see, or vacuum chambers and things like that. I mean, there are so many people who have done proper scientific experiments as far as anyone on a budget that doesn't equate to the kind of budget that government organizations have to test reality. And of course we also have faith that we are being shown and told everything about the Earth on which we live, especially when it comes to places like Antarctica or the North Pole, where we've never actually been. This is just a good opportunity to address a recent video I did about Flat Earth maps. The whole point there is that not one of us, whatever you believe, has any way to prove that the maps that we have, whichever maps you want to refer to, are a reflection or a projection of reality. No one has gone all over the Earth and gone in all directions to see if they can come back to the place they started off from. No one's ever done that. Very few people have been to what is called the South Pole, and no one has ever been beyond that. So any reference to maps and projections and insistence that all the maps we are given are based on reality is just hearsay, because no one can confirm this for themselves. So this is all faith. Everything we have, every image we use, every map, everything that we can, every reference tool is based on faith, because there is very little that we can actually confirm for ourselves, whether it's on the earth, the places that we are told exist or do not exist, as well as up in the sky, the sun being massive and 93 million miles away and all that jazz, stars, what have you. None of this is ever any kind of confirmation. We can never have a real physical measurement of the interpretations we are told to make about the alleged proofs for us being on a globe, especially by looking up at the sky. So yeah, Ron, anything that we believe to be true that's handed to us by a third party or an authority is faith, until we can go and confirm something for ourselves. And of course that might seem to be an impossible task, which it almost is, but that doesn't take away the fact that in order to know something to be true, we have to be able to confirm it for ourselves. We can't take it on faith. Okay, a long answer to a very short assumption there by Ron. So let's carry on.
I mean, I can't be asked to go into the abundance of evidence that we're on a globe. I can't be asked. But the point.
Okay, again, this is the difference. We all know the evidence that we are presented with. We all know the explanations. But this is the thing. It's intellectual laziness, not being bothered to question it or test it, that keeps us in the globe Earth belief. It's not until you go out and actually test it, which is what flat Earth researchers are doing collectively as individuals in their own fields of expertise, that makes us arrive at the realization that we're not on a globe. Anything beyond that, models, maps, etc., are again something that we cannot necessarily confirm, but we can at least use them as evidence and examine the evidence that we are presented with. So yes, it is a case of scrutinizing the evidence, whether it's photographs from space and moon landings and what have you. If you really take the time to scrutinize that, or think about the fact that we're told that you can only see the stars from certain locations, if you think about it and you experiment, especially with perspective, then you realize that there is always more than one interpretation that's possible. So we have been handed one interpretation of the observations that we make, usually ignoring perspective and turning that into an imaginary curve. So when you say you can't be asked, that's the problem, is because you're just appealing to authority to give you the answers, and without any of your own investigation, to eventually arrive at the realization that there's very little that we can prove or know for ourselves, yet we have to believe and have faith that we have been given the right information by governments and government agencies and the people in charge, basically.
Is every single video that they've made, or every single point I've seen them come forward with, has been debunked. Every single one of them.
Of course, people jump to debunk videos that are made by flat earthers, and they will debunk them with the usual explanations that we are given for living on a globe, but again, not backed by any kind of real proof, immeasurable demonstrable proof. So sure, you can debunk anything with an explanation, but what can you actually prove?
I have never seen them put forward something that a globalist can't answer, you know, and they have a lack of, they seem to have a lack of understanding of basic science.
I strongly disagree, Ron. I don't know what you call basic science, but water doesn't bend. Water always flows down a curve. So that's basic science. A vacuum and a pressurized system can't exist side by side. Again, measurable proof of the assumptions that we are given. So that, you know, a flat Earth researcher will advocate the use of science, measuring the distance that we can see when things should be blocked by curvature. Demanding that there is measurable proof of gravity, a force coming out of the alleged spherical mass of the Earth. Things like that. Again, it's all down to faith and interpretation. There is no science to back the globe Earth belief. Nothing in basic physics that actually relates to us being on a globe. It all relates to us being on a stationary, level plane.
They seem to have a mindset of more as like a 5-year-old. How they...
Maybe so, because it's at about 5 years old that they start telling us we live on a spinning globe. Until then, you've probably never thought about it, and it needn't be part of your life experience to be told or to feel you have the knowledge about where you are in the universe. Why do they insist on telling us we live on a globe at about age 5, when this does go against our experience, our senses, and any concepts we might have at that age about what we're doing here? I mean, at 5 years old, we're not really even questioning who we are, why we're here. That kind of comes a little bit later, but at 5 years old they start sticking it in our heads that we live on a globe, and we start looking at spinning globes in the classroom and pointing our fingers at the places we live and things like that. At 5 years old we're still watching cartoons like Peppa Pig, but then you watch Peppa Pig and you see you see these cars go up a very steep hill, and it's funny because you know that doesn't fit with our physical reality. You know, so even a 5-year-old can discern the difference between reality and a cartoon. But we are told to believe that this plastic globe we have in the classroom is where we live. And of course, you know, we're taught about rockets and astronauts, and told to assume that Mars is a place that will live one day.
Their basic understanding of things, especially when it comes to aviation, wow, gee, their whole approach to it. I mean, they think that if you go high enough, that the Earth is going to spin underneath you. Wow, they don't know about that. Oh wow. I mean, I can't be asked to go into all of it.
Okay, so I think his point there was going to be the whole atmosphere sticks to the spinning globe. But essentially, Ron, any pilot will have to admit that flying does not involve doing anything different to flying above a flat, level, stationary plane. So when you look into the alleged Coriolis force, and then told that, well, that doesn't happen in the case of aircraft flying. powered aircraft going against the spin. So on one hand, we're told that there is a Coriolis effect caused by the spinning Earth, but then we're told that, oh no, but when you fly, that doesn't have any effect. So there are contradictions there if you look into the whole thing. So we all know the explanations. We all know that the atmosphere is supposed to stick to the Earth, but then we've got wind and things, and it would just be impossible to land on a moving Earth. Tis a good point to bring up the what do they call them? The O-ring laser gyros, and what appears to be something that is that people use as proof that we're on a spinning globe. So we apparently do see what is interpreted as the Earth rotating from these laser ring gyros. So if that is in fact the case, then when you take off from the Earth, it should in fact be spinning beneath you. If you're going to use the O-ring laser gyros as proof that we're on a ball, then it should be spinning beneath you.
Alright, I had to stop the video just then, so let's carry on.
Hey, but the point being, it's faith-based. This is why, this would explain why they are so opposed to the concept of space tourism. Because think about it, space tourism should really work in their favor as far as they are concerned. As far as they are concerned, the technology of space tourism cannot come quick enough. You know, they would be over the moon. They'd be, yeah, brilliant. At last, we could be proven right. We could show the world that we are finally right. Because once space tourism comes, everyone could see for themselves that the world is flat and we were right all along. Yeah, I'm gonna buy my ticket immediately. I can't wait till space tourism. That's the reaction that you should get. But exact opposite, that every single flat Earth believer is absolutely negative towards the concept of space tourism, when you would think it would work in their favor.
I wouldn't say I don't know why you have that idea, Ron. Space tourism is something that was supposed to happen decades ago, and it still hasn't happened. Richard Branson has been promising space tourism for about 15 years, I think, and of course he took the money for the tickets a long time ago when he first came up with the idea, and it hasn't happened yet. And so what about it? Yeah, let's see it. Bring it on. Bring on space tourism. But what's it actually going to be? An aircraft flying up very high and then free falling back down to Earth without the Earth spinning beneath you at thousands of miles an hour? I mean, if you go up out of the atmosphere into space, then surely in the time it takes you to come back down again, the Earth should have rotated quite a few thousand miles by the time you come back down again. But that obviously doesn't happen. They just come right back down where they started off. So what's it going to be? Space tourism being weightless while you drop back down again? That's it? That's not going into space. That's just going up very high and falling back down again for what? The price of a 4-bedroom house or something? So yeah, bring it on. Bring on space tourism. Nothing negative there. And then of course they'll claim, well, where's the curve? And they'll say, well, oh, you didn't get high enough to see the curve. So yeah, I'm looking forward to space tourism, but I doubt there are many people out there that can actually afford it.
That in itself is right there, tells you a lot. Okay, thank you very much.
Ah, okay. Thank you, Ron. Okay, it's good to have the opportunity to clear up some misconceptions there.